The Biden administration promises to provide an additional $53 million to help care for Ukrainian refugees and those left behind in the war-torn country. Vice President Kamala Harris made the announcement today during her trip to neighboring Poland. White House Correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen?
Tracy, while more money is on the way to help Ukraine, the Vice President Kamala Harris also called for a war crimes investigation of Russia. This as the war rages and more civilians continue to flee.
Vice President Kamala Harris meets with allies in Poland.
We have been witnessing for weeks, and certainly just in the last 24 hours, atrocities of unimaginable proportion.
The vice president stood alongside Polish President Andrzej Duda as they discussed the growing threat from Russia and resulting humanitarian crisis.
The NATO alliance is stronger and Russia is weaker because of what Putin has done.
The Biden administration decided not to send Polish warplanes to Ukrainian pilots, fearing it would escalate the war and put NATO in more direct conflict with Russia. Still, President Joe Biden is reaching out to other world leaders to respond to the war. He called Turkey's president before hosting Colombia's president in the West Wing.
I want to thank you for immediately condemning Russia's unjustifiable invasion and the atrocities they're committing in Ukraine.
Meanwhile, the co-founder of the U.S. Ukraine Foundation believes Vladimir Putin's war is not just with Ukraine, but also with the U.S. and the West.
The military battleground is in Ukraine, but his war is multidimensional. It's diplomatic, it's propaganda, information, it's military, and it's economic.
And Bob McConnell told me he was one of several to sign an open letter to the Biden administration calling for a limited no-fly zone over Ukraine.
Our objective should be to defeat Putin. If it stops in Ukraine now, it's going to keep going. He's going to keep fighting the West until he is stopped.
Now, Bob McConnell, who once worked for the Justice Department in the Reagan administration back in the early 1980s, also asked for prayers for both the people of Ukraine and the people of Russia, who he says are suffering as well. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.